along with others, called for a meeting with the top leaders. I wasn't a top leader then. I was a leader. I wasn't top. Men like Dr. King, Dr. Shuttlesworth, and my brother, and some more YT and others were top. I was in the group. I was on that central committee, in on practically everything that went through. Reverend Shuttlesworth had to get out of the hospital, the head of the movement in Birmingham, and come to negotiation at A.G. Gaston Motel because he had been shot down by a fire hose, knocked down the steps in front of 16th Street Baptist Church. But they told him about the negotiation, and he had to be a part. Got out of the hospital, and he came. They had 5 points that I might not be able to name all of them adequately or properly, that they were asking that the power structure deal with. And they wanted to deal with all of them but one. Dr. King was there and all the rest of them were there. And they were ready to go along with it. Had members of the Justice Department there. I remember a man by the name of John Gore, and there probably were others whose names I don't recall at this time. Justice Department had been working feverishly for the longest, trying to bring this thing to an amicable conclusion. So they were there to be a part of the negotiations there. But Reverend Shuttlesworth said, hell no, we don't accept it. You're going to give us everything we ask for that you promised you're going to give us. And they said, we can't do it. And that sticky point, as I recall, could have been something else. Fred wanted them to immediately house a black policeman. And they said they couldn't do it. Said it was up to the personnel board to do that. But we do know that during that time, policemen could be hired under a clause called the grandfather clause. We had people with college degrees, PhDs, to try to take the exam for policemen. They were always turned down. We had people who were policemen from out of town, got a leave, came here, took the test, were turned down. So we knew it was discriminatory, knew it was wrong. And certainly when they found out what we were doing, a PhD named Dr. Jonathan McPherson, they let him pass, a PhD. But they wanted to put him at the jailhouse. But he would not accept that. So when they saw that we were not going to go along with that, they called another meeting and said it would happen. See, it was a collaborative type of thing because the personnel board wasn't letting no blacks do. They were discriminating. And they got the word over to them that they had to do things right. And certainly the negotiations went forward when they got back together. And the demonstrations certainly were called off. I'm going to go on and close out. You may want to ask some questions because there's a lot of more stuff that I can't tell all what happened in over 50 years in just an hour or two. Dr. King came back to Birmingham in 1968. We've left 63 now. I will say during the effort in Birmingham in 63, the Civil Rights Bill was born. It came out of Birmingham, what we did here. The Public Accommodations Bill. It came out of Birmingham, what we did. And what a lot of folks don't know, in a way, the Voting Rights Bill that we're having a problem with right now came out of Birmingham, planted on the second floor in the L.R. Hall building right across from just a block or so from 16th Street. They had planned to go to Selma, but a young man by the name of Jimmy Lee, I believe, Jackson, got killed in Maryland, Alabama, which caused the movement to move down there. Well, a policeman, a state trooper, killed this black boy, say he winked a whistle at a white lady, and shot him and killed him in cold blood. I was at his funeral. We walked about 3 or 4 miles to the graveyard from down there. So that was a deterrent, and they went on from there to Selma, Alabama. But the plan for the voters' right march was planned in Birmingham, Alabama. So I just want to mention those things. But in 1968, Dr. King was invited to come back to Birmingham because a municipality about 12 miles from Birmingham, Belton, didn't have any black officials. Place was segregated. We were thinking about getting a movement down there because they requested it. He came to town, spoke down at the New Zion Baptist Church. And I vividly recall that night when Dr. King spoke down there, the church was packed, folk all around. Before the meeting was over, he sent word to me that he's ready to go back to the hotel. Now, why me? Well, Dr. King said his father liked me. I didn't know his father too good. I had seen him. He says, Daddy said that our daddy raised us right, talking about my brother and I, so I guess they've been checking us out. And some folk, he said that he didn't believe meant Dr. King any good, but say he pointed me and my brother out like that, and Dr. King kind of took an affection toward me and saw to it that I was appointed city convener of the Ministers Leadership Training Program. You know, all the ministers in Birmingham went out of town to meetings and stuff like that. There were 10 persons appointed in the United States to the 10 worst cities to be a city convener. And I was appointed, didn't know what I was getting into, didn't know what to do. But this happened. So he kind of looked for me to kind of look out for him. And I called myself being something like security man when he came here, because he rode in my car and you could see the ground through that car I had came from a little guy named Curry, had been in salt water. But he didn't mind riding in it, getting in it like that. Where's Calvin? And like that. That brought a lot of animosity among a lot of people here in the city. Well, when he finished speaking down there, I carried him back to the motel, asked me to pick him up the next morning, carried him to the airport where he had a chartered plane. He had to go back to Memphis, Tennessee, where he had been there, leading the movement for the garbage workers. He said, Calvin, I'm going to stop by and see my family, then I'm going back to Memphis. You all may know what happened. He led a march there, and the wrong folk got in the march, started knocking windows out of businesses and things like that, and turned it into violence. Dr. King said he actually cried when it happened. They were trying to break him there, making it look like that he was violent. So he said, I've got to go back and straighten it out. And that's where he was going when he left here, going by to see his family. Then he was going back to Memphis, Tennessee, and that's where he died. I'm going to say 2 or 3 verses. I was asked to write a tribute to Dr. King and after his death. And I did write a tribute to him. And it goes like this. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. served this nation well. His words of strength and power shook the very gates of hell. People who sat in darkness saw a great light. Because Dr. King fought injustice with all of his might.
Right.
Because of segregation in Montgomery, the buses did not run. And this is when his name became blazing in God's sight. He went to many places. Came to Birmingham too. So many sacrifices were made for me and for you. Red, yellow, black, white, all men were precious in his sight. His freedom thrust did not stall because Dr. King led us home and we were walking tall. He went to Memphis to help in a garbage worker strike. And that is the place where Dr. King gave his life. A demonic assassin shot him down. Holy, holy. I hear his blood still crying up from the ground, saying, freedom, justice, equality. Through my blood, I give it to thee. And when the portals of glory shall open wide, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will walk inside. At the right hand of our God, he will be, because he died that we all might be free. Thank you.